Okay, so with that last video, I only got to line 30. That's where I'm going to pick up. This is still Achilles talking, and he is not going to play nice. Remember every valor of yours, for now the need comes hardest upon you to be a spearman and a bold warrior. There shall be no more escape for you, but Pallas Athena will kill you soon by my spear. You will pay in a lump for all those sorrows of my companions you killed in your spear's fury. Again, he's reiterating how he's not going to show any mercy. And basically, he's going to get some serious revenge here. So he spoke and balanced the spear far shadowed and threw it. But glorious Hector kept his eyes on him and avoided it, for he dropped, watchful, to his knee, and the bronze spear flew over his shoulder and stuck in the ground. But Pallas Athena snatched it and gave it back to Achilles, unseen by Hector, shepherd of the people. So you can totally see here how the gods and goddesses are playing favorites. So Athena comes in and helps Achilles, gets his spear back for him. Also, one of the things that you should watch out for as we're reading are these appositives, further description of a character. So, shepherd of the people. You think of a shepherd, especially, with all of our knowledge of the Bible, a shepherd is somebody who takes care of the sheep. So, in this case, Hector is being called the shepherd of the people, meaning he is fighting this battle with Achilles to try to get the Greeks out of Troy here. Line 40. But now Hector spoke out to the blameless son of Peleus. You missed, and it was not, O Achilles, like the immortals, from Zeus that you knew my destiny, but you thought so. Or rather, you are someone clever in speech and spoke to swindle me, to make me afraid of you and forget my valor and war strength. So basically, in his speech there, Hector is dissing Achilles. So maybe like you would hear some of this talk back and forth in a major fight where one person puts the other person down. Although this is much high level speaking. You will not stick your spear in my back as I run away from you, but drive it into my chest as I storm straight in against you. If the god gives you that, and now look out for my brazen spear. I wish it might be taken full length in your body. And indeed, the war would be a lighter thing for the Trojans if you were dead, seeing that you are their greatest affliction. Achilles was supposed to be the best warrior among the Greeks, so yeah, it would be great for the Trojans if he died. So he spoke, meaning Hector, and balanced the spear far shadowed and threw it and struck the middle of Peliades' shield. That's a reference to Achilles. Nor missed it, but the spear was driven far back from the shield, and Hector was angered because his swift weapon had been loosed from his hand in a vain cast. So Hector's mad. He throws his spear, it hits the shield, it doesn't do any damage to Achilles. Yeah, I'd be mad too. He stood discouraged and had no other ash spear, but lifting his voice, he called aloud on Deiphobus of the pale shield. Remember, that's his brother. And asked him for a long spear, but Deiphobus was not near him. Here's where he recognizes the truth. So Athena, disguised as Deiphobus, had said, go out and fight. Yeah, we're going to fight. And so he thought his brother was with him. And all of a sudden, in the heat of the battle here, he's realizing Deiphobus isn't near him. And he's like, it's one of those gods tricking me. And Hector knew the truth inside his heart and spoke aloud. No use. Here at last the gods have summoned me deathward. I thought Deiphobus the hero was here close beside me, but he is behind the wall, and it was Athena cheating me. And now evil death is close to me and no longer far away, and there's no way out. So it must long since have been pleasing to Zeus, and Zeus's son who strikes from afar this way, though before this they defended me gladly. But now my death is upon me. Let me at least not die without a struggle and glorious, but do some big thing first, that men to come shall know of it. So he has a strong sense of his fate. He realizes that's it. I'm going to die. But instead of just giving up, he wants to have a glorious death, one that people will remember and then speak highly of him for. So he spoke, and pulling out the sharp sword that was slung at the hollow of his side, huge and heavy, and gathering himself together, he made his swoop. Okay, here comes a Homeric simile or an epic simile, because he's going to be compared in this lofty language to something very familiar to the people. He made his swoop like a high-flown eagle who launches himself out of the murk of the clouds on the flat land to catch away a tender lamb or a shivering hare. So Hector made his swoop, swinging his sharp sword, and Achilles charged, the heart within him loaded with savage fury. Okay, Hector's last stand. In front of his chest, the beautiful, elaborate great shield covered him, and with the glittering helm with 4 horns he nodded. The lovely golden fringes were shaken about it, which Hephaestus had driven close along the horn of the helmet. Remember, I said Hephaestus had helped out with the armor, so he made Achilles' armor. And another Homeric simile coming up right here. And as a star moves among stars in the night's darkening, Hesper, who is the fairest star who stands in the sky, such was the shining from the pointed spear Achilles was shaking in his right hand with evil intention toward brilliant Hector. So Achilles' spear moving toward Hector is compared to a star moving in the heavens. Light must be glinting off of it and all of that. So he was eyeing Hector's splendid body to see where it might best give way. Where's his weak spot? But all the rest of the skin was held in the armor, brazen and splendid. He stripped when he cut down the strength of Patroclus, yet showed where the collarbones hold the neck from the shoulders, the throat, where death of the soul comes most swiftly. In this place, brilliant Achilles drove the spear as he came on in fury. So in a nutshell, what that means is Achilles eyes up Hector's armor, and Hector's armor is really the armor that used to belong to Patroclus, who was Achilles' good friend. And he's looking at it, and then he sees this one vulnerable spot around the neck, and that's where he drives his spear in. And of course, it's saying this is where death of the soul comes most swiftly. If you get a guy there with the spear, you can kill him if you do it right. All right, line 89 on the top of page 69. And clean through the soft part of the neck the spear point was driven. Yet the ash spear, heavy with bronze, did not sever the windpipe. Ooh, that's critical because they can have a dialogue yet. So that Hector could still make exchange of words spoken. But he dropped in the dust, and brilliant Achilles vaunted above him. Hector, surely you thought as you killed Patroclus you would be safe, and since I was far away you thought nothing of me, O fool, for an avenger was left, far greater than he was, behind him and away by the hollow ships. And it was I, and I have broken your strength. On you the dogs and the vultures shall feed and foully rip you. The Achaeans will bury Patroclus. Okay, so he had done the good thing and given the body back, and Achilles is not going to do that for Hector. And imagine hearing that your body's going to be torn apart by dogs and vultures, and you're unable to do anything about it. And this would be wounding him to the quick, because that's part of his honor. In his weakness, Hector of the shining helm spoke to him. He's begging on his deathbed. I entreat you, by your life, by your knees, by your parents, do not let the dogs feed on me by the ships of the Achaeans, but take yourself the bronze and gold that are there in abundance, those gifts that my mother and the lady my mother will give you, and give my body to be taken home again, so that the Trojans and the wives of the Trojans may give me in death my right of burning. He wants to have the honorable death. Okay, gotta stop here.